you gotta leave it
Guys,
on.
stop fighting.
Please leave it on.
Jesus Christ.
I've already had comments that my last video with you guys, like there was like 5 to 7 minutes of just turning the light on and off. So let's
Oh yeah, I remember
just
that.
once, right? Okay. So as you recall, the last time we had our group all together when I did a lecture, we talked about graphing parabolas, right? Remember that? And I talked about the quadratic equation in standard form, right? Does anybody remember that equation? Y equals
X squared.
Y equals what?
X squared.
Y equals what?
X squared plus
Y equals
X plus C.
Y equals what?
Y equals
AX
AX plus B
AX squared
Math.
plus
plus
BX plus C.
C.
All right, let's just remember what we remember. Let's just try to remember this. What does the A tell you?
A tells you
It's like the numbers.
it's the
Raise your hand, just so I can call them. Sir Roy.
A tells you it's like how narrow or
Right. If A is greater than 1, as it gets greater, this is standard parabola guy. Y is equal to x squared, like 1x squared. Y is equal to 2x squared. Y equals 3x squared, 4x squared, 5x squared, 6x squared, 7x squared, 8x squared, 10x squared, 1,000,000x squared. Right? It gets really tall and skinny, but then when you get down to y equals 1x squared and you go below 1, y equals 1/2 x squared, y equals 1/4 x squared, y equals 1/8 x squared, 1/16 x squared. It gets really wide. Okay? So A definitely tells you how skinny and how wide it is.
Also,
What else?
happy or sad.
Okay. Yes. Well, no, not during the lecture. Just can you wait? If you can, just do it fast. Okay, fast. Okay. Yes.
A tells you if it's happy or sad.
Happy or sad? How do I know?
Because if it's positive or negative.
If it's positive, it's thinking,
Happy
and it's happy, and it's smiling, and it's a parabola. And if it's sad, if it's negative,
It's thinking negative thoughts.
What does it have to be happy about?
right? Okay. So that's great. So that's A. What does B tell you? What does B do? What does B do? All right, Isa.
It moves the vertex off of the y-axis, and the vertex is the place where the parabola starts going in the opposite direction.
All right. So if there's a B, it's going to move it to the right of the y-axis or to the left of the y-axis. We don't know exactly how you formula to figure that out. But we know that if B is not 0, the vertex is not on the y-axis. If B is 0, what do we know?
It just stays on one.
It is on the y-axis, right? Okay, what does C tell us? What does it do to the vertex? Jackson.
Move it up and down.
It moves it up and down, exactly. So knowing that, it's like this will help you immensely as we move into word problems and starting to make sense of this and how it's useful in real life. Yes.
And the parabola crosses the y-axis at C.
And the parabola crosses the y-axis at C. This is also the y-intercept, isn't it? Right? The C is the y-intercept. So you guys learned to do this. Y is equal to x squared minus 5. Right? And you learned that to do that, what's B?
Negative 5.
B is 0, right? Meaning it's not moving it off the y-axis, meaning the vertex is going to be on the y-axis at the only place it touches the y-axis, which is where?
Negative 5.
Negative 5, which is the y-intercept. So I go down 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I put a dot. Now that I put the dot, look at this.
You do the thing and
So,
then you do the thing.
Aiden, make sure you're aware of this, watching this.
You do
This
the
is
Y-
this is standard parabola, right? I just want to be sure you guys are all with me. So this is standard parabola, right?
Yeah.
And this said I had to move the vertex down 5, which I did. Now I'm going to just plot standard parabola, which is
Over 1, up
Over
1,
one,
over 2, up 4.
over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4. You got it, girl. Over 1, up 1, dot. Over 2, up 4, dot. Over 1, up 1, dot. Over 2, up 4, dot. And we have just graphed it.
Whoa, we're so smart.
Okay, so I did not give you something in this equation. What did I not give you?
A
A
B.
A B, right?
And they're
So
done.
all of these
Oh,
are,
yeah,
All of these are really easy. What if I did this? What if I said y equals 2x squared minus 5? What would I have to do? What would I have to do, Sam?
You would have to double, so
Yes.
the
So when
way
it
you're
says-
going up.
So when
I
you
can
do
see.
T-chart,
So it's typical standard parabola, guys, over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4, right?
Yeah.
What do I have to do?
You
gotta double the y.
Times 2 times 2. So it's over 1 up 2, over 2 up 4. I mean, up 8, right? Over 1 up 2, and over 2 up 8. Something like that. So it's skinnier, right? It's skinnier, right? It's a mess. I know. I'm just doing this fast because I want to get into the real stuff. What the lecture's really.
Real stuff.
Fist to 5. You guys with me so far? Are we all together? Everybody gets it, right? Awesome. All right. So now, if you're not paying attention or if you're drawing or anything like that, please stop. Please start paying attention and stop drawing. So, because this is important. With the graphs that you already know how to graph, parabolas, what's the first step that you did? Well, let's just try this really fast. Y is equal to x squared plus 2. What's the first step? Isa. I go up to, what am I plotting technically?
The vertex.
I'm actually plotting the vertex. Does everybody know what the vertex is?
Yeah.
Like when you have a parabola, it's where it turns, right there. That's the vertex. Or if it's like this, it's this. That's the vertex, right? And so this is a vertex. We know it because there's no B. So I know that. And I also know, it's standard parabola guy, right? So the first thing I did is I plotted the vertex. Yes?
Yes.
The second thing I did is I just did standard parabola guy, right? To get my graph. Over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4. Yes, right? Now, if there is a B, we still have to plot the vertex. But there is a formula that you have to use. Jake.
Wait, so you only multiply by 2 if there's 2 in front of the x.
Only if there's a 2 in front of the x
Yeah,
squared,
I thought so.
right? Or 3, then I'd multiply everything by 3. Or 1/2, I'd multiply everything times 1/2, right? So yes. All right. So everybody's clear on that. We're going to plot the vertex first. Yes. So we got to figure out what it is. This is easy to find the vertex on this, right? Because there's no B. We know the vertex is on the y-axis, and it hits the y-axis at 2. So we know that's the vertex. Now, when there's a B, we don't know that.
With the B, wouldn't you just go like over 2 or to the side 4 or whatever it is? Remember?
Well, actually, let me show you one other thing. It's not as simple as just like if it says -4, you're not going to go to the left, 4, or +4, you're not going to go to the right 4. It's not that. You've got to actually follow a formula. But one other thing I just want to mention, and I want to talk about what is an axis of symmetry. So an axis of symmetry. So if I plotted something, let's say it was x squared minus 2. Y equals x squared minus 2. Over 1 up 1, over 1 up 1, over 2 up 4, something like that, and something like that. Okay? Here's my parabola. Not a very good drawing. But you got the idea. Okay? What do we know about it? What do we know about a parabola? Yes, Zane.
Is two things. It's a curving mixed square V line.
Yeah.
And is this the same thing we did yesterday?
Yes. So go ahead.
Oh,
So
okay.
the question is what? My question is, what do we know about the parabola?
It's a curving mixed square V line.
Okay, what else, Jackson?
It's symmetrical.
It's symmetrical, which means if I cut this in half, or if I folded it over, this line would go exactly onto this line. You know what I'm saying? I could flip it over and they would be exactly touching. Does that make sense? So it's totally symmetrical. So this line that goes right through the vertex, straight up and down, that is the y-axis right now, that is actually called the axis of symmetry. It's an axis where the parabola is perfectly the same on either side, right? It's completely symmetrical. Does that make sense? So right now, that's the axis of symmetry. The y-axis is the axis of symmetry. When you have a b that's not 0, the axis of symmetry is not the y-axis. So we have to find the axis of symmetry. All right, so there's a formula. to find the vertex, I first have to find the axis of symmetry, okay? So here's the first step. Axis of symmetry. This is the formula. X equals negative b over 2a. It's really, really important formula. It will save you hours of time if you learn this and memorize this. Hours of time. Yes. I'm sorry?
It's like the same thing that I passed.
Yes. Yeah, I thought I explained that to you guys yesterday, but yeah. But I'm going to actually add more to it. So you have your notes. You should have your notes out so that you're ready, because I'm going to add more to it. All right, axis of symmetry. That's the formula. So does anybody recognize this at all? Does it look familiar to anybody?
Yes, from yesterday.
Okay, Dee Dee, what does it remind you of?
It sort of reminds me of like calculations for distance.
Okay. Anything else? Yeah, Bella?
Why
Okay. Anybody else? Does anybody know, have you guys learned the quadratic formula yet?
maybe, probably.
You're going to eventually learn this. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And you're going to memorize that formula, and it's going to be useful.
Yeah, we haven't.
Gary.
All right? That is,
You have to write this down.
this is one of the most, guys, this is one of the most famous formulas in math. It's called the quadratic formula. It's a miraculous formula, and I will eventually show you guys how we derived this formula, how we actually got
Do
this.
we want to
But-
write this down?
But notice, no, you don't have to write it down. But note, do you see anything similar between this formula and that formula?
Negative b over 2a.
Right. The only thing, this just doesn't have the plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, right? And so this is actually something that you'll already have to memorize anyway in the quadratic formula. This is so easy, right? X equals negative b over 2a. So let's try one. Let's find the axis of symmetry for y is equal to x squared minus 8x plus 2. Okay? We want to find, well, hang on one second. Let me just think about this for 1 second. So 4, 16, negative 16. Let's do it. Let's do plus 12. Let's just do that. Okay? So here we go. We're going to find our axis of symmetry. What is my A?
Oh, it's 1.
It's the number in front of the x squared, which is 1. What's my B?
Negative 8.
Negative 8. It includes the sign. So it's negative 8. What's my C?
12.
What? 12. You're right. Okay, here we go. X equals, do not forget to say x equals. Don't just write negative b over 2a. Always write x equals, because that tells you what you just solved for. X, x, x. Go ahead. Zane, help
What
me.
was that formula? What was that really complicated, scary formula?
That was called the quadratic formula.
You're
Um,
actually right.
Yeah.
So what would I put? It says negative b. So up at the top, I know I'm going to have a negative. Well, I'm going to write the formula. Negative b over 2a equals, I have to negative b. My b is negative 8. So it's negative 8, which is really positive 8. So I'll just put a plus sign there. Over 2 times a. A is 1. 2 times 1 is 2. So what is 8 divided by 2?
4.
4. So I know that x is equal to 4. That is my axis of symmetry. Do you guys remember how to graph this? X is always 4. So here we go. Let's graph it. Let's graph it. Axis symmetry, 1, 2, 3, 4. It says x is always 4. X is 4. No matter where you are in the y-axis, x is 4. X is 4. It's going to be a dashed line. All right? Usually, for your axis of symmetry, you dash the line. I know. What do I know about the parabola in relation to that axis of symmetry?
That's the parabola's gonna have the curvy thingies on both sides. It's gonna go down, and then that's where that on that line is gonna be the vertex.
Yes, the The vertex is going to be on that line, exactly. We know that that axis of symmetry, that is my x of my vertex. Do you get that? That's my x of my vertex. If, let's say the vertex was here, it would be 4 comma negative something. If it's up here, it's 4 comma something, positive something. I know right now, just by doing that my vertex is this. I know it is 4 comma something. Do you guys see that? That's why I need to know my axis of symmetry. That tells me how far I go over to the right or the left to find my x, right? Now I got to find my y. How would I find my y? Matt.
Now you can put the x in the place of all the x's.
Okay, so this is my equation, right? This is what I'm trying to graph. And I know my x. I want to know what is y when x is 4. That's what I want to know. Does that make sense? So I'm going to just plug it in. So here we go. Y is equal to, instead of x squared, I'm going to put 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 12. Okay, 4 squared is 16. Minus 32 plus 12. 16 minus 32 is minus 16 plus 12. What is that? Negative 4. So y is equal to negative 4? Yes? Okay, so what do I do with that now? What do I do over here in this vertex?
Plug it in, so it's going to be
So,
4 negative
4, negative 4. So now I go over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go 4 over, 4 down, put a dot. That's my vertex. Yes? I plotted my vertex. That's my first step. All right, everybody's eyes up here for a second. I plotted the vertex. Now, look at this. Look at this. What do I have now? What do I have now?
Parabola fox. Standard parabola fox.
I have standard parabola guy. So I just do over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4 from my vertex.
Parabola fox.
Over 1, up 1, dot, over 2, up 4, wherever that is. Whoops, I guess it's up here. And then over 1, up 1, over 2, up 4, and I draw my parabola.
Is it, wow, standard.
Okay? So I drew, so let's just review what we did. Number 1, we had to plot, we had to find our vertex.
I don't get the math behind that.
Who said that? Who's talking?
Man.
All right, what part don't you get?
The y. How do you get the,
Oh, okay, because look, I found my x, and I want to know what is y when x is 4. So I did 4 squared. I did this. I recopied this. I replaced the x with a 4. So y is equal to 4 squared minus 8 times 4 plus 12. So 16 minus 32. That would be negative 16, right?
Oh, okay.
And then
sorry,
plus
yeah.
12, it's negative 4. I just kind of did it in spurts. See what I mean? All right? So the first thing I did is I plotted my vertex. I figured out what my vertex was by using my axis of symmetry formula and then plugging that x into the original formula to get my y. Then I had my vertex. I plotted my vertex, and then I could draw it. What is the... See, how did they word this on this thing? On the back of the homework, they have, they say, what is the turning point of the parabola?
Don't forget.
What is the turning point of that parabola?
Oh,
Yes, it's the vertex, exactly.
4, comma.
It's the vertex. They're going to use different terms sometimes, right? The vertex is the real term that you use, but sometimes they'll say, what is the turning point? The turning point is the vertex, right? So you just figure out the vertex. What if they say, what is the minimum point of the graph? The minimum point of the graph.
The lowest.
Yes, the lowest. Minimum means the lowest, right? The minimum point. Where is the lowest point on this graph?
The vertex.
4.
Yeah, but what part of the vertex? Is it the x or the y?
The y.
Yeah, it's the y. It's how low. It's that, the y goes up and down. So it's negative 4. right? That would be your minimum point of the graph. Let's see.
But why is it setting me a standard parabola? I don't get
Because standard parabola is like,
It doesn't have anything in front of the x, so that y equals x squared is standard parabola, guys. So that's what you're actually plotting besides the vertex.
Yeah. So let's try one more, and then I'm going to turn you loose on the homework, okay? So. All right, I'm going to leave this graph. All right, we're going to try one more. Here we go. We're going to say y equals 2x squared let's do plus 8x. Let me think, what's that going to be then? Or 2, negative 2. So 4, 8, so negative 8. Okay, so we'll say plus 10. All right, there's the one we're going to graph, okay? So the first step is I have to use my axis of symmetry formula. So this is the first step. Axis of symmetry, right? Axis of symmetry. And in your on your homework's going to look like this, okay? My group did this last night, and they have a different one. It looks like this. On my group too, I just changed the equation so you can practice it again, okay? All right, but and basically the first box just gives you the equation. The second box says axis of symmetry. So in that box, you're going to write x equals negative b over 2a. And then you're going to put equals, what would I put? What's my a? A equals 2. My b equals 8. And my c equals 10. All right. So now what would I put? Negative b, negative 8, right?
4.
Negative 8 over 2 times 2, which is 4. What does that give me? Negative 2, right? Yes? Everybody with me? So now I have this. My axis of symmetry is x is equal to negative 2. Now how would I graph that? Dylan, how would I graph that? X equals negative 2. What? Okay, go left to negative 2, and then what? Okay, straight up and down, dashed line. There's my axis of symmetry.
Do
All
we
right.
have to put it on the homework? Or
Yes, the homework has a graph on it too, so I'd like you to put the axis of symmetry on the graph. And what do we know Skylar is going to be on that axis of symmetry?
The axis of
This is called the axis of symmetry. That's what we've been working on.
Oh, the vertex.
Yes, the vertex is going to be on the axis of symmetry, right? Okay, so how do I find my vertex? Bella?
Plugging x in.
Plug x in, because I know my x and my vertex. I'm going to even write it down right now. My vertex is, it's going to be negative 2 comma something, right? Now I got to plug it in. So I have 2. Now watch this, everybody. This is really important. When x is a negative number and you're plugging it in, you have to use parentheses. You have to, right? Because if you didn't, the square only affects the 2, not the negative sign. You need the parentheses to affect everything because x is a negative number. Plus 8 times negative 2 plus 10. So negative 2 squared is what?
No, positive.
Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Times 2 is 8, right? Positive 8. Negative 2 times 8 is negative 16, right? Plus 10. So these two, 8 minus 16 is minus 8. Plus 10, that gives me 2, right? So y is equal to 2. Okay, so now I'm going to finish my vertex. I'm going to put a positive 2 here. And so I'm going to go negative 2, 2 to the left, and 2 up, and I put my dot. And is it standard parabola guy now?
No.
So do you guys realize, do you understand this? By plotting the vertex, I just took into consideration all this information. Does that make sense? I'm done with it. Once I plotted the vertex, I've used this information. All I have to do now is plot this as though the vertex were my origin. Pretend. You see what I'm saying? So it's standard parabola guy times 2. Standard parabola guy is x, y, 1 over 1 up 1 over 2 up 4, but it's times 2. Times 2. So over 1 up 2. So from here I go over 1 up 2, and then over 1 up 2 over here, and then over 2 up 8, right? Over 2 up, okay, so wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so this will be up here and up here, right? And there's my graph. Where does it cross? What is that point right there? The y-intercept. Is that in the formula? Is that in the formula? What is C again? C is your y-intercept, right? So 10 is my y-intercept, so that better be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It is. See that? Immediately I have a point. Whenever you have an equation, a quadratic equation, written in standard form, this is standard form, that is where it's crossing the x and the y-intercept. And I think that's basically it. So on your homework, there's an equation. The next box says axis of symmetry. You do this part. The next box says vertex. The vertex, you use that box to do the math to plug the x in to find the vertex. The next box says y-intercept. You just write whatever that c is for the y-intercept, and then the last box is the graph. And then on the back, there are other problems that everybody needs to do as well. All these word problem things, right?
So we just
Try
do
to
the
do
whole
those.
thing.
Oh, we have to do
Do the
those?
whole thing, yes. So I'm going to give this, I'm going to pass this out now.
Wait, didn't we already do 3? No, it's like we did that.
This is I changed them. I changed the problems.
Yep.
We have the same homework.
This is like really busy.
You're so lucky you get to do the homework anytime.
Wow.
Can you,
I already did it once. Not all I do.
No, summer, no, of course I will. Hey, dude. Dare.
Gary, can we go out into the hall? Oh, we have time.
Gary.
Gary.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Gary.
No,
Can we go and work out in the
that's
hallway?
Sorai, do it fast, buddy. Get
Gary,
inside. Come on inside. Just do it fast. It's just to our kids.
What? You're in our class? Yes. Yes. How many are classes?
7 minutes.
So guys, this would be a good time. You've got 9 minutes. And in 9 minutes, I could finish that entire sheet. So I think you guys could at least do
You're a math.
the first
Gary, you're
2 or 3.
math teacher.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Guys, Gary's a wizard. That's what
You
you're
could actually get a lot done.
You're a wizard, Gary.
Gary.
Use the time. Use the time.
You have 7 minutes.
Did I turn this off?